Hello, dividend growth stock investors. It is Colby the DGI Crab, and today we're going to go over the great ETF race up to episode 17. If you are new to this series, what I'm doing here is I am taking 8 of the most popular dividend themed ETFs, investing $5 into each of those 8 every single week. And the point of the series is to show that you don't need a lot of income, extra money to invest, or even a lot of knowledge or desire to research individual stocks. You can pick one or two, maybe even 8 different dividend cash flow generating ETFs and allow that passive income to continue to snowball week over week, month over month, year over year. So there has been plenty of turmoil in the markets this year. Overall, the stock market has recovered pretty nicely after the initial drama over the Trump tariffs. We'll have to see how things play out over the coming weeks and months, but things are looking pretty good right now for the market as a whole. And these 8 ETFs are actually all in the green once again. Not a licensed professional. You should always do your own due diligence. Don't take any of this as investment advice. All right, guys, so I'm doing this on the SoFi platform, and I'm going to just show you the spreadsheet here because this is going to show me a little bit more easily all of the relevant details that we want to know regarding these ETFs and how the investments have taken off up to this point. So I'm at the point now where I've been at this for a little over a year. I've got $265 invested into each of the 8 ETFs. We've got 4 selections from Vanguard, VYMI, the International High Dividend ETF, VYM, the US counterpart, VIG, the Dividend Appreciation, and VBR, Small Cap Value. And then, of course, I've paired that with DGRO, the iShares Dividend Growth ETF, DHS, the Wisdom Tree Monthly Paying High Dividend ETF. DHS is the only one that pays monthly out of these 8. SPYD, the State Street High Dividend ETF that takes the 80 highest yielding ETFs or stocks in the S&P 500. And then SCHD, of course, Schwab's High Dividend ETF, the internet's favorite dividend ETF, as I lovingly call it. And how I've sorted these out here, you guys, is by the overall gain. What is the overall value of the position in relation to what I have invested in? VYMI, the international, is still on top. Now, the VYMI shot into the top position at the onset of the Trump tariffs with all of the turmoil and uncertainty that caused in the American markets. And VYMI is still on top overall. It's got a $19 lead over VYM in the second place position right now. And if we look at some of the stats here, VYMI has paid me out so far the most in dividends of all 8, and it's a fairly high yielding ETF, so that's not a major surprise. It's paid out $7.81. By the way, I do have dividend reinvestment turned on for all of these. So every time one of these pays out a dividend, it just goes right back into buying more fractional shares of the underlying ETF. But just because it's paid out the most in dividends at $7.81 is not the reason why it's so comfortably in that number 1 spot. It certainly helps, but it is certainly not the biggest reason why that is. Number 2 and number 3 in dividend payouts, SPYD and SCHD, are in the 7th and 8th position overall. As a matter of fact, both SPYD and SCHD are in the green overall because of the dividend reinvestment. SPYD is up $6.59 overall, but it's paid out $6.98 in dividends. You'll see our SCHD up $5.87 overall, but has paid out $5.96 in dividends. Hit a major milestone here. I have received $40.31 worth of dividends over the course of this year plus. And that's such a major milestone because that's the same amount of money that I'm investing on a weekly basis. So I've gotten an extra week's worth of contribution now from the dividends that these 8 have paid out. If we look at the annual income number, we're up to $68.45 in annual forward dividend income. And this is something that I'm hoping to get up over $100 between now and the end of the year. I think we're going to get there, just assuming that each of these dividend ETFs also do a reasonable job of increasing the dividend payout. I added a new column here just so we could clearly see what happened in the previous quarter. I wanted to show you guys what the previous dividend payment was. So VYMI paid out the most. I got a $3.87 dividend in Q2 from VYMI, $1.74 from VYM, $1.17 from VIG, $1.33 from DGRO, and this 244 from DHS, because it's a monthly payer, what I did was I took the April, May, and June payout and totaled those together, which is where I got this 244. And then finally 123 from VBR, 297 from SPYD, 245 from SCHD. Yield on cost holding pretty steady here at 3.28%. The more dividends that I receive that get reinvested back into the underlying ETF, the more this number is eventually going to climb. I'm hoping to get this number closer to 3.5% by the end of the year. That may be a little bit of a lofty goal, but if I could get a pretty big dividend increase from ETFs that you would expect a big dividend increase out of, like VIG or DGRO, SCHD, we may just get there yet. But it was a total of $17.20 that got paid out and reinvested in this previous quarter. And the higher that this number goes quarter over quarter, the greater the yield on cost is going to continue to grow, because I'll have even more money getting paid out eventually than I'm investing week over week. Now, that does take time. Obviously, this has been something that's taken a little bit over a year to develop, but really, guys, if you think about it, over the course of a year, it's a little over $2,000. And for some of you that are just starting out, thinking about investing $2,000 seems like a pretty lofty goal, especially if you're on the lower income side or you have a lot of bills and debts and other obligations, and maybe you could only squeeze together $50 or $100 a month at most in order to invest. It can seem like just getting to $2,000 invested is going to take forever. But if you are steady and consistent and just have a good stable plan in mind, you can eventually get to that point. So that is the Great ETF Race, episode 17. Thank you so much once again for joining. You can email me any questions you may have about investing to dgicrab@yahoo.com. I will always respond to you with an email, and perhaps I might make a video response to your question with your permission if it's something that requires a bit of a lengthier explanation. I hope that you will like and subscribe. Please tell your friends about DGI Crab, hoping to grow that subscriber base so we could all work together to make each other better dividend growth stock investors. That is what it's all about, you guys. So I hope you're having a nice 4th of July weekend and spending time with friends and family, maybe taking a little time off of work. I also hope that you've taken a little time to watch the video here. Like and subscribe and make a plan for your investing going into next week. Take care, everyone.